Hello everybody, welcome back to a new episode of Secrets. Yep, that's the first thing I have to show you. We have a little leveling to do, and that's because of, oh, better do it differently. That's because of a quest we took earlier today, actually last week. We have the Ancaria allies, and the fun part of this quest is that it has a hidden reward, which is adding 1 attribute and 1 skill point. It's a very nice reward because people don't expect it, and even I have been one of those people who were like, what? I got points, but I didn't level up. Is this possible? And the reason it's possible is, well, one of the reasons is because it's part of the, not Ice and Blood, but the community patch. I have no idea when this quest was actually added in the community patch, but it is in one of the latest versions, so. And it got the point, that's number one. The second thing is, it's only showing up after you relog into the game, which I just did, hence why those points are. So what I am going to do with those, well, I still have a high level in regeneration of my combat art, so obvious one is Capricious Hunter. Because, yeah, at tier 5 I get 90% regeneration time off of it. So that's a nice thing. The other one, I can put it in Dex. Because, yeah, that gives me more points in attack. I can also drop it in stamina. %92 regeneration above, and it's at 7 seconds now. So what I'm going to do next, actually thought I had it written down somewhere, but I guess not. What I'm going to do next is, starting at level 8, putting some points in dexterity, and level 9 putting points in stamina, until that average combat art regeneration time is improved by 100%. So that means about probably 8 levels, which means, since I'm splitting 16 levels from now, so level 23 I may have this at 100%. After that I'm going full dex, because by that time I'm also able to add Constitution. I hope I'm able to add Constitution. Doesn't look like it, but I need a Constitution armor law, which in turn means that my next will be combat reflexes. I need 5 points in that, and I think the next one is level 8, but I need 5 points in that, so at level 13 I'm able to start picking armor law and Constitution, which means by the time I have Constitution chosen, yeah, the vitality certainly isn't needed, but everything should work out fine. So that's one thing. The next is the thing I've been promising last episode, which I'm really going to do right now. Problem is, this text is really bugging me. But we're underneath the text. So we're going to visit the Seraphim starting grounds first, head over to the cemetery to do some exploration and grave robbing there, eventually heading out to the dark elf, high elf area. We don't have dark elves in this game. The high elf area, and then go around and pick up that quest. That's the idea for now. It should be possible in 5 minutes, so I also should keep in mind that I'm not using WASD. Cemetery, Seraphim Monastery, Zilioth Tower. Zilioth Tower is High Elf. Now there's a funny thing about this cemetery. It's not a pet cemetery, but it contains, just like the normals, the first Sacred game, it contains lots of tombstones with inscriptions on it. And this time, the nice part is that players will actually ask at the time on the Sacred International forums and probably the German Sacred forums as well to add cheeky, quirky, no matter how you want to call it, remarks to be added to a new Sacred game. So there were lots and lots of contributions. I know one of the most one of the persons who contributed the most was Silas Steve. So I don't even know how many he did. We will see over time. If I remember that he did it, I will mention it. There are also some of mine. When we see those, I will mention it. This is the starting area of the Seraphim. In the opening video of the Seraphim, we actually see her standing here. Well, I think actually there. And we see a dying Seraphim giving a long speech about being killed, being poisoned and whatever. But this is the Seraphim starting point. And after that, you need to run this way. You get to collect some items from the box. Not now. You don't see her, by the way. That the babbling nun. Of course, just like many places, this has the vases and wells which can be looted. You can even pray to the gods, which isn't mine. Just don't get a reward from it. Also, even before we had ice and blood, those strange crystals were already here. I don't know if that's because it's a reference to the Seraphim Island and they imported it here, or if it's because the Seraphim were there, meaning they actually caused the crystals to grow. But it was already there at the start of the game, so it's a nice reference. Lots of the ideas the developers had were already planned for the future. So, Seraphim start. Usually you have to fight 2 of the Inquisitors persons here. We already killed those. So let's move off to Cemetery.
He's gone. One less.
I'm still going to pick up some white stuff, but I will skip the grey stuff for now. With the exception of a few things quest related we will run into sooner or later. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is Cemetery. It already shows here inspect grave. And as you can see, we got quotes coming up. Added by the developers. Let's see, this goes to the back. Let's start here. Yeah, I always like this one. This is one of the developers. I think it's one of the developers. Sacred 1 used to have a big bug where you entered the desert and you had to bring a water bottle, or better said, a bottle with water to a dying character. And before Sacred became Sacred Plus, because that game was Sacred, then it was, well, actually it was Armor Lion, which became Sacred, published as Sacred. After that we got Sacred Plus, which was quite a big patch at the time, which eventually became Sacred Complete, but it has been named Plus for quite some time until the DLC was released, and at that point it became Sacred Underworld or Sacred Gold. But we had, before the Plus patch, we had this bug that you wanted to pick up the water bottle, you would direct it to that guy who was dying, and at that point the quest marker didn't update. And with that, the end was that people went over to the forum asking about where to find the water bottle because the quest marker didn't update. So at some point, like I said, the Plus patch fixed that, but even after that people didn't upgrade it and they kept asking, and that's the reference we have here. This sounds like the Dutch football player Johan Cruyff. think the last two were actually done by Steve. This one it's a reference to a quote we will see at one of the graves too, but basically being that rather dying standing up as begging on the knees, something like that. Special Seraphim mounts weren't there in Sacred One. So, but they were requested for a very long time. This one may actually something I just think about now. A reference to an Iron Maiden. Well, okay, it's dark in a cover, that's pretty obvious, but there's also an Iron Maiden song called Fear of the Dark. Standard reaction of people who went AFK. This is also a reference to another grave we will encounter in a bit. Siegfried and Roy. I don't know, it is a reference to something but I can't remember. I think I wrote this one. Reference to Caroline Hacker, aka Da Girl, who was forum moderator and community manager at some point. Galen Jarvis is the reference to Ascaron's game. Now, it's a reference to the main character of Ascaron's game Darkstar 1. It was a great game. It had 2 terrible missions everybody hated. And the game got pretty burnt because of that, but it was nice. This is a reference to a grave he found in Sacred One, stating, I'm young and I needed the money. Or I was young and I needed the money. No idea who and what. It's better to die standing up than to live kneeling down. It's a famous quote, and like I said, what we have here, if you take that in mind, with that, living coward than a dead hero. You can see the second one as a reaction to the first. Next. That's Silas Steve. The epitaph I can't remember. Reference to, I don't know. Anybody up for James Bond? Or Paul McCartney and Wings? Or maybe Guns N' Roses? The movie Live and Let Die. Now I need to think. Yep. No. This way. Nope. This way. The only advantage of dying at the graveyards, there's plenty of spot for you to be buried. Come on. Silas Steve, but he's using... This one is obvious. The other one is using an expression in... probably from English, which... sorry, I don't know. Reference to Alan Wild, one of the devs. Reference to something that used to happen while at the time Sacred was under development. People were actually grave robbing flowers for other graves. Everybody know ladies first, right? That's a reference. Uncle Emma is a reference, but I have no idea to what. I will ignore those because we will get to them in a bit anyway. So what do we have here? One Guardian of Soul. So, welcome to a big chapel underground. You can call it a crypt if you want to, but with all the benches it's more a chapel as a crypt. Certainly isn't a burial crypt, although it does look like it. Unless you're here to worship your ancestors, because in that case it does. We do have some ancestors here. We also have a G-Energy console, which isn't doing much, at least not for us. We have smaller ones over here, but not all of them react. The lectern, and very big coffin. This is the starting point of the Shadow Warrior. You're standing here, you see the T energy coming in at this point. We got this T energy circle too. And the main purpose is usually we got two persons standing here discussing some things. You were brought back to life because the Shadow Warrior starts actually in there. So some wise words. Begin is half the work done. That's an expression in my country as well. So yeah, this is Shadow Warrior starting point. So we had, let me think, Shadow Warrior, Seraphim, Inquisitor, Temple Guardian, and a brief visit to the one of the Dragon Mage. In short, let's do it differently. Dragon Mage, Dryad, Seraphim, Shadow Warrior, Inquisitor, Temple Guardian, and that leaves us with a bunch of graves to be discovered, and after that, hey, it's missing something. After that, High Elf, and that's it. Only took us 27 minutes to do those two starting points. That's an expression I do understand, pushing up daisies. We think, at least international community thinks, this is actually a German. It used to be one in German, which is actually translated wrong. The international community thinks that the translation should be, a more sensible translation would be, I'm disappearing, but I don't move. Or, but I'm not moving. Instead of what we had here, I'm moving, but I don't disappear. This is, yeah, a reference to people doing grave rubble. Ray Diamond. Yeah, I think it's anagram. Raymond Jade, most likely, but it doesn't ring a bell to me. Okay, I have to keep this in mind. I'm a Dryad after all. No, I'm not a Dryad. I'm the player after all.
Were you in the bathroom while this strange ranger has redeemed you all?
This is a reference, if I'm not mistaken, to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And it says somewhere come in here, there's a cake. It's also why we found the other grave telling the cake is a lie. No idea what. Ethan Reese was a character set for dark elves in Sacreds. This place means death. So it's a reference. You got a grave here, but at some point. This is also a reference out of nothing, nothing. But I have no idea to what it's actually referring. Now, what I don't understand, unless I missed something, there used to be a mention about a grave for a certain Dr. A. Kula, which is what I wrote. And the grave, the tombstone said, "Here rests Dr. A. Kula, died of a heart attack after visiting the blood bank." It's not here. The only thing I can think of is that's been taken out in the community patch. Replaced with something else. Or it was at another graveyard, but I thought it was at this graveyard. I was pretty sure it was at that graveyard. The only other option is that it is being moved to another graveyard because something in the code shifted. So we're off to Celia's Tower now, which is the starting point of the mage. This is the mage we had to get those amulets. Oh, there's a grave. Ah, never mind. I found the High Elf starts actually being one of the hardest you had in this game. Because the only combat art you had was the fireball with a terrible regeneration time. So it was quite hard to use with that one. And the only thing you had was a dagger and something that was called a dress. Although it barely covered. Well, it did cover the high elf, but not that much. So it wasn't offering much protection. And having to deal with several opponents which were using their weapons faster as you are, and a spell which was taking very long to regenerate made the game pretty hard to start with. once you get through and you had that resurrection monolith and you had the first village, you were able to get here. It became easier because you had a point of operation, so you could use the little gold you earned with the quests to spend to immediately get a better item, most likely shield. So let's talk to him. Yeah, right. I leave it to your own thoughts. Some of the mages. I have no idea where they actually live. But something that just occurs to me. He was mentioning a circle tower and being part of a Silesian school, but he was mentioning a circle and a tower for mages. I've just begun playing Dragon Age again, after I don't know how long. That game had a rule where magicians were forced to live in a tower. So it's possible. I don't say it is like that. This is pure speculation from my part. But it is possible that this whole setup is actually a reference to one of the mage classes, or one of the classes that of the mage in the Dragon Age series. Dragon Age, the Origin and Awakenings were released before this game. So it's possible. At some point, studios borrow stuff from other studios, being it ideas or landscape or whatever, so you can't blame them, because in the end you will have to. I mean, each game is having archer, each game is having something like a barbarian, something like wielding big weapons. Each game is having elves, orcs and other creatures, so you actually can't avoid it. And yeah, references to other games, sure, why not?
The maggots have taken out their napkins already.
Okay, bon appetit, maggots.
I didn't mean that personally, honestly.
So, with all the exploration done, it's time to start doing quests. And oh, and level up today. least now I know I'm safe. Going to the road and we're going to follow the coastline later. New skill, okay, which is going to be combat reflexes. I need that one. I'm not going to use a shield, so I don't need shield lore. I'm not going to use spell resistance, although it is useful when you encounter creatures, opponents doing spell. The turtles we have here are doing one of those, but I'm not going to. Combat reflexes is the all-round chance to evade hits. Spell resistance is more like avoiding hit by spells. So combat reflexes and already at level 2. I will start still increasing points in darting assaults and tactics. Capricious hunter and tactics. Because I want this one to unlock under a second. Now let's see, this is going to switch those two. Because this is my main boss killer. So let's start with hit. Damage over time is better. Even poison. Poison is damage over time too, and it will bypass the resistance if it's anything, so it will add its added damage, but this is a better one. Reach is going to be the next, and double shot is going to be the last. Because if you're currently doing 82 to 107 damage times 2, that's 164 to 204 damage. So yes, that's what it's going to be. And like I said, level 8 I'm going to do dexterity. Stamina will increase by itself too. So, but we'll see. Won't be long before we get to level 10.
The endless circle of life.
In one of the next episodes, I will open up books. Did I hit the bugger? No, I didn't. Open up the books and spend some more time with it. But for now, I'd like to go on and do the quest first. Especially since I know we have very big, dangerous opponents coming up at some point. Starting with this guy. That's not doing any good. Oh well. He's going to do magic damage, that's why I switched the ores. Orbs. Remember? Steel knows, and he didn't want to have comments about that, so... Nice rewards. Like I said, we already have quite some books now. Diaries is added in Ice and Blood patch, Book of Magic, Book of Herbs, and were from the game itself. Revolutionary Idea is from Ice and Blood. So newly patch, by the way, not Ice and Blood. We will go through them over time. Pointing to somewhere, I don't know where. I'm not going to do that. This is our next goal. This path, and there's a reason. Usually I travel this, but there's no reason to avoid that. Because usually I'm playing more as an hour.
Just a scratch.
But I'm not going to do that now. If I had my own game session, I would have taken the road, because I would run into problems at some point for the quest. But I don't going to do that, which means I can kill this elemental and have no problems at all. Lots of things reset when you reload the game. Item. I don't need it. I will ignore that cave for a while, because very likely I will enter it later for the quest anyway. That's a trap. And I'm not happy if I hit that one, so... And the one dropping it, he is the one dropping traps.
Your hammer nose, gnome.
Why the hell was he able to hit me? Yeah, I was about to say I saw something blue.
Would rather die than think. In fact, they
I'm going
do
to
so.
need more protection against arcane damage or magic damage. Too late. So I'm a dryad. I'm the one to protect nature, and what am I going to do? Exactly.
I want to rise to this challenge.
I'm going to kill turtles because other people need to fish. What do you mean preserving nature?
Wasn't so bad after all.
That was one of the reasons why you always should explore the map. There's always a hidden treasure somewhere. I'm not going to talk to her yet. I want to finish his mission first. If I'm able to. Because I've been killing lots and lots of turtles. There's always a quest marker. many I should do. I think it's the last one. No, one more.
And he's gone. One less.
Damn. Of course it's a boss. Champion ones. That's exactly what I needed, thank you. Champion ones are always stunning you. And we will encounter some of those champion snappers. Well, maybe not in this episode, but certain in the next episode. That's why I was already switching to arcane relics. Because they do a lot of damage and the stunning is not fun side effect.
That's done.
Oh, bugger.
The spirits of the forest won't let me down during this mission.
I need 63 more. Not ranged weapons. Just that one. It's a nice sesh, especially with the cutting down on regeneration time, but armor-wise it's going to kill me. Same with this one. This one, however, oh, wait a sec. .5, 30.5, 30.1. We always keep 2. Overhead 6, overhead 5, 6 and defense, 6 cannibalistic voodoo. Barbarian with spell resistance. Animal. I'm going to keep one of each. Ah. No magic. You have better pants, okay. These are looking very nice, especially that one. But the problem is it will drop my speed. Never mind, I do it. Because that speed drop is only for the last. Where is it? Never mind. I need 66% in experience points. That's it. 66 experience points and I'm there. Range weapons +1. Tactics. Chance to evade. Tactics. Okay. Damage over time. Chance to evade. So she's a little bit more slow. That's what it currently looks like. We have to help that lady. There's my 66 experience points. And a little bit extra. So I guess speed is already back to normal. This is also useful because it gives me experience points increase. And in a way it's similar. I'm doing this, we're going to get there in a bit. This is my safe zone. It's similar to using a mentor potion. So, am I going to do the same thing? Yes, I am. Tactics. 4.8 seconds for the Capricious Hunter. 4.7, so 1 skill point is 0.1 second. Which means I need about 40 skill points to get it where it is. I can actually get that in a different way too. Like I said, stamina helps 4.6. I want this at 100%, so yeah. But things are working. Once I'm able to get concentration, I need armor lore, I need constitution, I need concentration. That's 3 skills. Once I have those, I can actually pick enhanced perception and the Kabbalistic voodoo lore and focus. Which means I have 1 left. And that last one could be Nature Reaver Focus. But that's at level 50, so let's not get ahead of ourselves too long.
Thank you for this gift.
I won't be able to make it to that quest. I will ignore him for a bit. Because it's quite a distance from here. No. And we've already done an hour. What I will do is activate this one. I mean, I have to kill the kobolds anyway. It's a free star quest, so it isn't the most easy one.
With nature's force, I will help you.
But this one works very nicely combined with the kobold heads. Why doesn't? Yeah, it's an area quest. Still have to do something about the sound because it isn't where it should. So, light, I have no idea who placed it and why it looks. We enter this part. Looks like it's been some sort of
at the same spot.
shelter or maybe a mine. That's it. Got cobwebs, but not the ones producing it. So it looks like it's been a mine. Heading into the wrong direction. One of the few reasons why I have been considering Nature Weaver and especially Tangled Vine is you can use Tangled Vine to stop creatures from moving, add ravaged impact to it, and you got a pretty certain way to deal with bosses and other stuff. Pellets, that's just rocks. So, next. Last quest I'm going to accept.
I want to rise to this challenge.
This is the easy part, and I will only do the easy part.
Done. Will do.
Yeah, he went into hiding, but sure.
Assignment completed.
And a nice one.
You can count on me.
And here we go again. And we basically need those sets. At this rate, experience is going nicely. That's a good thing. Another thing I have to look at, because I hadn't done that before, is if I'm able to actually put some better rings in the character slots. One, chance to find valuables. No thanks. Everything else is still on my multiplayer character. So, with this being a safe area, also, I better bring up this one then. There's a lot to do. With this one being a safe area, I think I will log out here. And next week, we're going to finish our quest to get Bloodhound killed. We're going to explore, we're going to find one of the secrets in the game. And after that, when this is actually done, we continue in the Cobalt Canyon, because there's still this area to be explored. I think all in all, it's going to be this part, most of it. But for now, we stay here in the cave. We're at high ground. we have water nearby, we have, I was about to say a scout to protect us, but let's just call it we have to protect the scout, water nearby, high ground, so it's okay. It's a nice spot to log out. Therefore, thanks for watching. I hope you've been enjoying it. I did. It was fun. And I hope to see you next week. Have a good week. Goodbye.